So I just finished playing a game of Freakface, and this is from the Halloween Nightmares Horrorgame Magazine from Emperors of Eternal Evil. You may know them from games such as Cave Evil, or Cave Evil War Cults, or perhaps the Mushroom Eaters. Those are some of their boxed games. They also did Psycho Raiders, which was from the Halloween Nightmares Horrorgame Magazine issue number 1, and I believe they just the third edition of the magazine just came out with a game called Sea Evil. So they're games that I particularly enjoy getting just because of almost just because of the artwork, although they happen to have the added virtue of also being good games, which helps with the enjoyment, obviously. But they all have this sort of campy kind of artwork, and a lot of them, with the exception of the Mushroom Eaters, focus on this sort of cartoonish level of violence. Think your teen slasher film type violence, all with this kind of sort of death metal overtone to the the layout and the artwork and the colors and all that kind of thing. So they're always just a lot of fun to look at. But this one I just played through. I didn't do the full 10-player version since it was my first game. I just did a 2 versus 2 4-player version, I think, or maybe I did. There's a recommended, if you have less than, you can play up to 10 players, but if you have less than 10, there's a recommended number of players. And if you're playing a 4-player game, I think it was two teens and 2 carnies. Look at my setup notes, because I had 2. Yeah, so 4 players, it's 2 carnies and 2 teens. 5 players would be 3 carnies and 2 teens. But I started out with the 2v2, which, where'd she go? I had her on the map. But it was Lucinda was one of the teens, and then you have this kid over here, Randy, who's like her brother or something. But he doesn't count for victory conditions. And I don't know if I should have started with him or should have started with 2 people in the mirror maze. But regardless, Lucinda, Barry, and Vaughn are the 3 characters that start in the mirror maze next to Freakface. And they have to get out and then off of the board through the chain link fence, either on the west side, the north side, or the east side of the board. But they are stuck in the mirror maze to start with and have to work their way out. And Lucinda was able to work her way out. She busted through the wall over here and got outside the maze, but still inside the main tent, and so had to find her way to one of the exits at the ends, either end of the tent there. But freaks kept showing up. Anytime a teen runs, or a freak for that matter, a carny runs past one of these runs past line of sight to one of these eye hexes, they have to roll on the C table to see if either an item pops up there or a character pops up there, or potentially nothing pops up there. But unfortunately for Lucinda, she kept generating characters, and those characters all happen to be evil characters and not the neutral or potentially good characters that could end up helping the teens out. They all ended up being bad characters. So in addition to having to deal with Freakface, the fortune teller showed up. She showed up as a random event roll, and she's the one who actually ended up killing Lucinda. But then there's Lucy and the carny. He was there. He was chasing her down. And then here's all these bad guys that kept turning up. The alligator wrestler, old Cranky, and Smiles the clown. All ended up chasing Lucinda, and Randy couldn't even get into the tent in time to end up saving Lucinda. Lucinda tried to break out and go running towards that exit. She did hide and try and split her counters off to throw off the Carney folk, which worked. I did send some of the Carney folk in both directions. Unfortunately for her, Lucian and the fortune teller were already down this way, and so went around this way to cut her off. So she tried fighting and was able to do some damage to Lucian, and I think to the fortune teller. I think she hit them both. I think I used one of the teen special abilities on her attacks that they can use once a game. But in the end, it wasn't enough. So whenever a character is reduced to 0 stats, you draw one of these kill cards. This one happened to be the Heavy Head card, which as you can see, it looks like somebody's head's getting smashed by a lectern there. But this is an example of the crazy style of artwork you see in this game. But the kill has to match the type of damage shown on the card in order for it to be effective. Otherwise, the character cheats death and gets a reprieve and a will to live point back. So in this case, though, the fortune teller, she had her black orb, which as you can see is a blunt weapon, and so when she drew the kill card on Lucinda with the heavy head, that killed her. So it was fun. I didn't get to engage with the freaks at all. I ended up drawing an extra freak. You can see the tarantula man there. And then there's one of the other freaks. What is that? Monsieur Huevo Volante, the four-headed man, the Ratungiesel, and the disturbing human rope. But you can get an idea from these cards just of the type of artwork that this game has. All this very exaggerated comic book style, carefully hand-drawn stuff. So charts and tables on the map, which I'm always a fan of. The map, much like Psycho Raiders, has this very shadowy, like cool lighting aspects to it. You can see like where there's kind of like little Christmas lights strung along there. There's the light is drawn onto the map. Makes for this real evocative, fun, kind of Halloween night type aspect to the maps, which I really like. If there is a complaint, it's that the map is very dark. It's almost like the overall brightness of the map should have been cranked up a little bit, which would have given those shadowed areas a little bit more definition, because sometimes on some of this stuff, it's hard to see, where a wall is or where the track is for the love carts, which are these little things. It's like a ride that takes you around the map. These spaces are where you see these things called dioramas, which are these potentially disturbing things that the characters can end up seeing as they run past. And these have, again, more of this crazy artwork, but they can end up reducing stats for certain characters. Some of the ones that I stumbled across were the old Chinese shaman lady, kind of disturbing. You've got the alien, also very disturbing, but just more examples of this awesome artwork. And you've got don't open that box. Yeah, so if somebody sees this, they're going to be a little bit disturbed. Dismembered corpse, or the old dead body, and you'll see they have here -1 will if on hex. So there'll be these potentially dangerous results anytime somebody stumbles into view of one of these dioramas in the freak tent. So that's just sort of a quick look at Freakface, and I'd been wanting to do a review of one of these games for a while, and so this was just sort of a quick hit. I decided, hey, you know what? I've got this game. I cut out all the cards. I got all the pieces punched and stuff, but I hadn't played it yet. So why not get it out and give it a quick run through? And the rules are very simple. There's a lot of stuff you can do. If you look at the sequence of play here, you start with an event rule, and then each person takes their actions. But you can see there's a lot of actions they can do, and so that's what the bulk of the rules is really just explaining what the actions are. But they're all pretty simple in terms of what you're actually doing. Mostly what you're going to be doing is moving, potentially hiding, and then performing combat. And so there's various other things: gain composure, convince, which are going to be used a little bit less frequently. Where the convincing is for if you stumble across a neutral character, one of the carny workers or something that could potentially help the teens, you can convince them to help you. And conversely, the carnies can try and convince them to become evil. So just lots of fun ways to interact, and I can see it being a lot of fun if you've got a group of players, having everybody control one of the teens, and split up the group and have some people control the teens and people control the carnies, and everybody's playing basically sort of a slasher movie type thing where these kids are trying to run away and or fight back when they have the weapons to do so, and they're being chased by these freaks and monsters and evil murderers. So just a classic campy Halloween type fun, which I always really enjoy. So just to take a quick look, because I did talk about the other titles, which I have here, and I've not done reviews of these, but Callendale he's done a review of Cave Evil, as well as the Mushroom Eaters. So and he's also done Psycho Raiders. So I'd encourage you to check out his videos, and you can get a good look at the artwork and the play of those particular games, also from Emperors of Eternal Evil. Although the Mushroom Eaters uses Blast City games, so they're all designed. I think they're all designed. I know Cave Evil is. I'm not sure if Mushroom Eaters, and you can see just looking at the artwork here. I'm not sure if they're all designed by Nate Hayden. I think he did Cave Evil. And again, just artwork is just so fantastic in this. Just there's no games like them, and the palette for Cave Evil is all black and white, all monochromatic, which you would think, that's not going to work, but it does. It totally works. One thing that Callendale hasn't done yet is war cults, and this is sort of not really a sequel, but a new iteration of Cave Evil, because you can play it on its own, but you can also integrate the Cave Evil characters into it. And this is just the cover of this just looks like the cover of a death metal album. It's just pure death metal, over the top camp. So just fantastic stuff. But I haven't yet played War Cults. I have played both Cave Evil and the Mushroom Eaters. I did both of those. It's been probably a couple years ago now, but I also have not played Psycho Raiders yet. But Psycho Raiders is very similar rules-wise to Freakface. So I have not ordered Sea Evil yet, which is the third Halloween Nightmares game. But I am also looking forward to trying that out. That may be a little bit different in terms of rule set than Freakface and Psycho Raiders, but I'm not sure. I was reading that it's conceptually a little bit different in those games, so maybe the rules a little bit different. But anyway, if you have a chance to get these, I know Cave Evil is kind of long out of print, hard to get, but I think you can probably still get copies of Freakface. I know there's maybe a few copies of Psycho Raiders left. I know you can still get War Cults, but Mushroom Eaters and Cave Evil I think are both out of print, so those you'd have to look in the secondary market. But definitely give these a try if you like this kind of Halloween slasher movie type campy fun, which is pretty much exactly what I would describe these as. So anyway, check them out.